Good evening, everyone. My name is Merjin Vivillana, and I am the last reporter for our chapter. We are at the last part of our report for this chapter, which entitled the 4.5 Implication for the Strategist. We are already familiar on how to conduct an external analysis, which was already discussed at the previous chapter, as well as the internal analysis introduced by the previous reporters. So now, we are going to combine the tools for external and internal analysis. It is very important for us because as a future strategist, we can be able to formulate strategy and alternatives that combines the company's internal resources with its external environment. Using the SWOT analysis to combine external and internal analysis. The SWOT analysis encourages managers to scan the internal and external environments, looking for any relevant factors that may affect the firm's current or future competitive advantage. It allows managers to evaluate a firm's current situation and future prospect by simultaneously considering internal and external factors. So SWOT analysis is a business framework that makes it easier to evaluate a wide range of factors that could have a significant impact on company's performance. These factors may be internal or external to the company. The primary goal of SWOT analysis is to increase awareness of the factors that go into making a business decision or establishing a business strategy. SWOT analysis is a framework for identifying and analyzing an organization's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. These words make up the SWOT acronym. For the strength, it describes what an organization excels at and what separates it from the competition, such as the strong brand name, loyal customer base, and unique technology. Weaknesses are the areas where the business needs to improve to remain competitive, such as high level of debt, lack of capital, and weak brand. Opportunities are the favorable external factors that could have an organization a competitive advantage. And for the letter T, the threats, these are the factors that have the potential to harm an organization. Strengths and weaknesses are both under the internal factors. Internal factors are within a business that can be controlled by the organization, such as staff, company culture, process, and finances. We can be able to determine the internal resources through the use of VRIO framework, which is discussed by the previous reporter. Meanwhile, the opportunities and threats are under the external factors, meaning to say these are the factors that affects a company's operation. Unlike internal factors, external factors are uncontrollable, such as customer, politics, economy, and global factors. Through the use of different frameworks such as Pastel and Porter's 5 process, we can be able to determine the external factors that affect the business. To facilitate a SWOT analysis, managers use a set of strategic questions that link the firm's internal environment to its external environment. As you can see here in this SWOT matrix, the horizontal axis is divided into factors that are external to the organization, which is the opportunities and the threats, and the vertical axis into the factors that are internal to the organization, which is the strength and the weaknesses. Using the SWOT matrix, we can be able to develop strategic alternatives for the firm using a first-step process. The first step is focus on strength and opportunities quadrant. It is over here at the top left. We need to use an internal strength to create offensive alternatives in order to make advantage of an external opportunity. When we say offensive, we need to be aggressive to the opportunities using our strength. So the question here is, how can managers use strengths to take advantage of the opportunities? The second process is focus on the weakness to threats. It is found on the bottom right quadrant. We need to derive defensive alternatives by reducing or eliminating an internal weakness to reduce an external threat. Unlike from the first process, here we have a defensive action. So when we say defensive, it is the act of protecting or supporting something. So the question here is, how can managers overcome weaknesses that will make threats a reality? Guys, I'm encouraging you to screenshot or kindly take note about this matrix so you won't be confused, because later on we will have an example on the application of the SWOT matrix. Going back, the third step is focus on the strengths to threats. We can see it here at the top right quadrant. It is also an offensive action like the first step because we use an internal strength to minimize the effect of an external threat. So the question that we formulated here is, how can managers use strengths to reduce the likelihood of the impact of the threats? What are the actions that managers need to take advantage on their strength? And for the final process, it is focusing on the weakness and opportunities. We can see it at the bottom left quadrant. It is the defensive action also, just like the second process, on how to strengthen an internal weakness in order to make it more likely to take advantage of an opportunity from the outside. So the question here that must be formulated is, how can managers overcome weaknesses that prevents the firm from taking advantage of the opportunities? Now that we have an understanding on how to use a SWOT matrix in formulating new strategy alternatives, we have here a hypothetical example for McDonald's, the world's largest chain of hamburger fast food restaurants, operating in more than 34,000 restaurants in 120 countries. The first step is the managers need to gather information for a SWOT analysis in order to link internal to external factors. As you can see here, we already list down the information needed in making SWOT analysis. For the strength, we have here financial resources, the strong brand name, and the consistency. Meanwhile, the McDo's weaknesses are market share decline, the dependence on fried foods on the menu. We are all aware that the menu of the McDo are focusing more on the fried foods such as hamburger, fries, and chicken. And for the opportunities, we have here a growth on emerging economies. It is an opportunity for McDo to continue expanding, especially on emerging economies. Health consciousness of U.S. population. As I said earlier, the menu of McDo have negative impact on customers' health. But this is also an opportunity to develop new healthy products like fresh burgers and nutritious dessert. And last, for the threats, we have the possible increase in minimum wage. And the last one is the popularity of easy-to-prepare grocery items. In the final step, managers need to carefully assess the advantages and disadvantages of each strategic options before deciding which one or more should be implemented. Managers must carefully justify their decisions, including the reasons for rejecting other strategic options. Based here on the SWOT analysis, McDonald's developed 4 strategic alternatives. Do you guys still remember the first process? The focus on strengths to opportunities. By combining its internal strengths in financial resources and brand name with external opportunities due to growth in emerging economies, it developed an offensive strategic option to launch new restaurants in China and Mexico. The second step is focus on weakness to threats. By combining an internal weakness due to the market share decline and the loss of market power with the external threat of the increasing popularity of easy-to-prepare grocery items, it developed the defensive strategic option to develop and air new ads showing the ease and speed of McDonald's drive-thru for take-home orders. The third step is focus on the strengths and threats. They come up with the strategic option to launch a McDonald's line of frozen foods in grocery stores and the use of internal strength in brand name and consistency to reduce the external threat posed by the easy-to-prepare grocery items. The final step is the focus on weakness to opportunity. The final strategic alternative is to overcome internal weakness due to the market share decline and dependence on fried foods on its menu in order to develop and market more healthy food items. Shoring up these internal weaknesses would improve McDonald's chances to take advantage of the external opportunity provided by the increased health consciousness of the U.S. population. To make the SWOT analysis an effective management tool, the strategist must first conduct a thorough external and internal analysis. This sequential process enables the strategist to ground the analysis in rigorous theoretical frameworks before using SWOT to synthesize the results from the external and internal analysis in order for them to derive a set of strategic options. So that's all. Thank you for listening.